So today we're going to talk about the best Minecraft creations that we've seen, and I can't really talk about that because I was actually fired. Yeah, I got fired. It's mainly because of my girlfriend that got here. I actually can't really even do this show anymore because I have my lovely girlfriend here with me. Her name's Dana, and we're very much in love.
I could just stare at your eyes all day long. Bend over, so kinky. Ooh!
Yeah, guys, I've had a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun working on this channel, but I mean, come on, right? This is the right decision. We should just go.
Eyes.
Wait, so Inky, you can't just... I can't do the show either. I have a girlfriend now. See,
does, it's true.
we're in love, man. So I guess, like, her name's Jocelyn, my name's Joshua. So
What should our couple name be?
well, you got Josh and Joshua. Joshua? Josh from you and Ua
Josh.
from me. Joshua.
I like it. It sounds
See,
beautiful.
it works.
Jocelynshire?
The Joshire.
Look at this love.
It's the chops. She fell for
Look
the
at the
chops.
mutton chops. They're so
So,
cute. He's also
guys,
ticklish.
I'm
you
not
guys.
ticklish.
Isn't that
That's not
cute?
funny.
Look at me.
That's not
Tickle,
funny.
tickle!
I'm not ticklish. I'm not ticklish.
Tickle party!
Okay, I'm ticklish. I'm ticklish. I'm ticklish. Guys, I'm sorry. We can't do Why We're Single anymore, so that's kind of the end of the show,
Sorry,
guys.
it's taken.
So
Sorry, get over
it's
it.
happening now. So we'll see you on another show or something. There's still plenty here. You guys will have fun. Ah, April Fools. We don't have girlfriends. Yeah, we don't have girlfriends. But guess what? We aren't talking about Minecraft either, so joke's on you. No, we're actually talking about side-scrollers, our favorite side-scrollers. And up front, I have to talk about a Mario game because he's kind of like the, the landmark of side-scrolling games. And I'm gonna say Super Mario World because it literally was a world. You think it's an older game, so it's not gonna be that big. No, there was like not only like the 8 different sections, but each little section had like a little side area that you can like, oh hey, there's a secret here, and it opens up a new path. Then you can make it onto like the Star Road, and then if you do like all of that, there was like the super special Star Road area where it had all these 90s slang as level names. So you had like Radical, you had Awesome, you had Totally, and then I was like, oh, well this is colorful and fun, and plus the introduction of Yoshi, well that's pretty awesome, just all on its own. You got Yoshi that you're riding around, you're like, so yeah, Super Mario World Plus, 2 players, grabbing apples from trees, cool enemies, awesome Bowser fight at the end.
If you're talking about side scrolls, there's a million of them. There's so many good side scrolling games. There's the ones I always talk about. You got Sonic, you got Mega Man. There's so many good ones. You got Shinobi. There's literally a million of them, but some of my favorites, Comix Zone. Now, Comix Zone was a game that came out for the Sega Genesis, and you played as this comic book artist who got sucked inside of one of his comics by some evil dude. I don't even really know exactly how it happened or what the story was, but the game design was awesome. You would like swing between the cells of the comic and fight a bunch of bad guys, and there's actually, it was one of the first games that I played where it's like had a little bit of a choose your own adventure aspect because you could sort of pick at various points which frame you wanted to go into of the comic, and doing so you'd be put up against different enemies and get access to different items. So there's definitely a strategy of like how to go through each comic once you play the levels a bunch. And if you beat enough levels, which I never did because the game was f***ing impossible, but if you beat enough levels, you got to turn into a superhero. I wish I knew what that was like, being a superhero, but I never did. Comix Zone.
All right, so we're talking about side scrollers today. Let's see, Mega Man 4. I really liked Mega Man 4. It had Toad Man and Dive Man. I really liked Dive Man's level. You were underwater. You kind of had to time your jumps correctly because you would float up to the top and stuff, and then he would shoot those like torpedo missiles at you when you finally got to him. It was a difficult level. It was just a fun game all around. And Toad Man, you could glitch him out and like he would jump over you and you could run back and forth underneath him and shoot him real quick and then get his power that way. And then you could rain death on everyone once you had his ability. Be like rain death on you, which really wasn't that good against bosses, but levels with a lot of annoying guys that were floating around that didn't take a lot of shots, but were still just really annoying. You just be like, Toad Man, rain death, you're all dead, which was kind of nice. So I like that one, and it had Proto Man in it. So Mega Man 4.
And then another one of my favorite games, same era, same system, Earthworm Jim. I've talked about this one a little bit before, but you play this worm, and I don't know where it comes from, but this magical spacesuit falls down from the sky, and then you crawl into it, and boom, you're Earthworm Jim. You're this big, muscly worm. I don't know what your muscles are made of. I guess just more worm, which is really disgusting if you think about it, just kind of this giant coiled up worm inside of a suit. And your goal is to save this princess named Princess What's-Her-Name, and I don't really know why you, as a worm, you care about a princess. None of it really makes sense, but the point is you shoot a bunch of bad guys in weird levels like Buttville, and giant dogs try to attack you that look cute at first, and you're bungee jumping on boogers. It's a pretty amazing game just in general. And you get items and you say stuff like groovy. And come on, who uses that word anymore? It's classic.
Mega Man is a fantastic franchise with great music. I'm more than positive Sonic's going to mention that somewhere. My favorite Mega Man, though, Mega Man X. It was one for the Super Nintendo. You're still playing as the Blue Bomber. Introduced Zero also. I was like, this guy is awesome. But yeah, it had some of my favorite bad guys in the game. You had like Electric Mandrill, you had Armored Armadillo, and you had like that one special secret thing that you can do. Lots of secrets made games great. Where you can actually get like a little Hadouken punch. So I was like, oh, I can do that, but you can only do it if you had full life, but I'd always wind up getting hit like within the first 3 seconds, so I could never actually do the Hadouken. But still, awesome game. It's, I think, the best Mega Man game, but I'm sure lots of people would argue. Still, it's really cool. It's really cool.
This next one's not technically a side scroller, it's technically like a down scroller because you move to the next area by floating down. But I really liked Bubble Bobble. And you would move back and forth side to side, so it kind of counts. Anyway, it was a fun game to play with my brother, and you know, you would put your enemies in bubbles, and then you'd pop them, and there were all sorts of like cakes and stuff floating around that you could get. I was a fat kid, I guess. I'm like, ooh, cake in a bubble, I should get that. And then you could do cool stuff like you could get this like chain fire where you just fire out a bunch of bubbles at once, and super high jumps and stuff. And then if you didn't beat the level in time, this ghost would start chasing you, and it was like, rah, and it was unbubbleable. You couldn't bubble it, and if it got you, you died. It was a fun game. Maybe it doesn't technically fit in this category, but I wanted to talk about it, screw you.
Now this one I was having a hard time actually like figuring out which one from the franchise I wanted to have as the best. I'm talking about Donkey Kong Countries. Is it the first one, which is the classic, or do you go 2, or 3 was still really good too? And Donkey Kong Country Returns for the Wii, fantastic game, very difficult, but great for the franchise. I'm gonna have to say 2, Diddy's Conquest. Which had Diddy and Dixie for the first time. Each one had like separate abilities. Like Diddy was a little bit faster, but Dixie can fly around with her ponytail. Don't try to do that on the playground because A, if you don't have a ponytail, it's not gonna work, and B, spinning around on the playground makes you look like an idiot when you're a kid. Hey, what are you gonna do? But it was just a testament to how awesome Diddy is this was a sequel to Donkey Kong Country, which Donkey Kong being like the main guy, he's not even in this game and was still fantastic. Level design was great, graphics were cool, all the animals you can like ride on was pretty awesome. Just Donkey Kong Country, great all the way around, just loved all of them. Game Boy versions, Super Nintendo versions, Wii version. Good job, Donkey Kong. What's this Wii? It's a thing. Nobody played it. It's still a thing.
All right, this next game I really loved when I was a kid. It was called Magical Quest Mickey Mouse. I think that's the correct name. You were Mickey, and you had to fight against all these evil forces, and you could be like a fireman, and in the fire levels you could put guys out and stuff, but then you could also change into that fireman outfit in different levels and use the water to attack people, and then he could also be like a magician, and he would have magic powers, and then I think a cliffhanger, or he could be regular Mickey. But it was awesome because it was like the first game I played like that, where you could kind of switch into a different power set like whenever you wanted and just kind of roam around the level and destroy things. It was awesome. It was a really fun side scroller, and yeah, Mickey, it was really the only Mickey game I think I ever liked. So points for that.
I wanted to talk about more games. I wanted to talk about this game called Mutant Chronicles Doom Troopers, but I'm told that I have to stay to 3. So I guess we're gonna talk about Super Meat Boy. And this is one that you kids are gonna know because it came out recently, but you play as this little meat and you're trying to rescue your girlfriend that's made of like cotton candy or some who's been captured by a guy named Dr. Fetus. I like weird side scrollers if that's what you're getting from this. That's what you should be getting from it. But essentially, Super Meat Boy is probably one of the hardest games I've ever played. It starts out really easy and then just becomes impossibly difficult. And you're just basically platforming, trying to get to the end of each level. The entire game is platforming, really. There's no other mechanics to it. And it just gets crazy. There's buzzsaws and weird bombs and monsters chasing you. It's intense, and it's a great game. And it was an indie game, which is something that I'm finding recently is awesome. Indie games in general, like When you find a good indie game, that's like when you get the really weird and sometimes artistic and cool stuff. But indie games are great, and Super Meat Boy definitely one of the best out there. So check it out if you haven't. And I have to pretend that I have a girlfriend on April Fool's Day. That's why I'm single.
Tickle party! Tickle parties! I love tickle parties!
Ah!